Hey everyone, welcome back to Collecting Nolan. This is Russ, and today's another Sensational Set Sunday. Today we'll be talking about the 1991 Star Stellar set. So let's go ahead and get started. So the 1991 Star Stellar set is just another Star set that was issued by Star Baseball Cards in 1991, and we've gone through multiple sets of the Star products. And I think we still have at least one more from 1991, and there's still several more from 1992 that we have yet to go over. But I don't have those ones yet in completion, so I'm not going to show them until that I get them completed. So let's just go ahead and get started with the Star set from 1991 Stellar. So Star Stellar is a 126 card set. It had basically all the All-Stars of 1991, including Nolan Ryan here. So the checklist basically includes Ken Griffey Jr., Roger Clemens, Nolan Ryan, Robin Yount, Will Clark, Tony Gwynn, Bobby Bonilla, Kirby Puckett, Vince Coleman, Cal Ripken Jr., Ryan Sandberg, Howard Johnson, Don Mattingly, and Rickey Henderson finishes it off. And each one of these guys had 9 cards. So Nolan was the third group in that set. He started off with card number 19, as I showed upside down first. So this set was before Star made the redesigned the back. So this still has like the kind of like the generic default back that the previous Star cards offered. So here you have the minor league stats cards. And it talks about Nolan being with Marion and Greenville and Winter Haven and Jacksonville. And that's cool. It breaks it down by each year and each team, how many innings he went, how many, basically just like the back of any other regular baseball card. So in 92 is when Star kind of redesigned the back, where they would include a picture of Nolan and have multiple colors on the back instead of just like white and blue for this one. But this set here is pretty cool because I kind of like the colors on it. I like the teal and I like the gold, or I don't know if you want to call it tan or something like that, but I like that that design there. The only thing I don't like is that the font is kind of hard to read on these. So the only change that I would make is like maybe outlining the letters with either white or black or something like that, just to make it easier to read. But other than that, still good colors to go with. And it has the Stellar up top here, and every one of these cards has Nolan with the Rangers except for one, which is the last one, has him with the Astros. So but each one of these, of course, has its own theme to it. So this one was the minor league stats. This one's the major league stats, number 20. And it's got a nice picture of Nolan there, coming off the mound there, getting ready to deliver the pitch. And on the back, of course, it has his stats up until, 1991. So, and then for the third card, it talks about his postseason stats. And that's got Nolan in his high leg kick there, getting ready to undoubtedly throw some heat at you. And on the back here, it breaks it up into the division stats, the championship series stats, and then the World Series stats, which I think is cool. I mean, Nolan didn't have a prolific postseason career because he played for some, unsuccessful teams. But, he did have one World Series win with the New York Mets in '69. And, he did make 1981, he made it to the division series final. Or the division series, in 1981 with Houston. So, but he wasn't a Yankee, so he didn't have a he doesn't have a ton of postseason stats. But for the next card, has All-Star stats. So I think Nolan I think he was elected to go to 8 All-Star games or nominated to go to 8 All-Star games. But I think on this card it has him only pitching in 4, which I know he I know he pitched in I think the 1989 All-Star game if I remember right. So they only have him pitching in number 4 because he got the win in the 89 All-Star game, I believe. So um a lot of Nolan's appearances in the All-Star games didn't go too well. Like in 73 he had a 9.0 ERA, and in 79 he had a 13.5 ERA. So he didn't do too hot there. He gave up 3 earned runs in 2 innings in 1979 and 2 earned runs in 2 innings pitched in 1973. So he struggled a little bit in the All Star games, but I know he got one All Star game win. I forget which one that year. I forget which year that was. I think it was '89, but I'm not 100% sure. But cool card nonetheless. Here we got Nolan and his 7 no hitters. And that one, it kind of makes him look like he's just like kind of exhausted, like he just got done pitching a no hitter. But after the no hitter, like if you remember when he was done with pitching 7, like he was pretty elated. He's pretty excited. So I don't know. He just looks kind of tired there. But I think maybe he's also throwing there still. He might just be. That might be just like the follow through. I think that's probably what it is. But on the back, it's got the 7 no hitters with the dates and the scores and who they are against. So that's a nice little reference. And, all the other star cards have this back to it as far as the 7 no hitters card, but kind of cool. This one talks about his 5,000 Ks. And we know who his 5,000th strikeout victim was. It was the late, great Ricky Henderson. But I do like the front of that card because it's got the blurred ball there, which I imagine when you're facing Nolan Ryan, that's probably all you see is a blur, or you just hear the ball passing by you. But here's the 5,000th K back. And I kind of like this one too because it goes a little bit more in depth. It talks about, Ricky being the 5,000th, but it says how many people were at the Arlington Stadium that night, 42,869. And then it just says 96 miles per hour was the final pitch that he threw at Ricky to strike him out. So that's up there. And then this little tidbit here, it says even at age 42, Nolan Ryan is leading the major leagues in strikeouts. It makes you think that he could get 6,000 if he wanted to. I mean, he came close. 2 years later, though, in September, his arm would be it. That was it. When he injured it, he knew it. He knew that was the end. I mean, I think he was planning on retiring after the '93 season anyway. So, but when he threw that pitch, I think he just knew like that was the end of the career there, which is kind of sad. But I don't know if like Nolan's final injury, I'm not sure if he needed surgery after that or was it something that would just heal on its own. Because years later or a couple years later, he'd come out and throw like first pitches at Arlington Stadium and they wouldn't be slow. So he was still able to zing, first pitches pretty hard there. So I don't know like if he needs surgery or not. But also too, back in 1975, before his 4th no-hitter, he had I think he had bone chips in his elbow, and there was a point there too where they thought the doctor told him he was going to need Tommy John surgery, and he just declined it. So, and he just rested his arm. So, I'm not a surgeon. I don't know anything about Tommy John surgery. I'm not going to pretend to know it, but it sounds like most these days that like if you don't have the surgery, you're done. So I don't know if that process has changed or not. So I just thought that was interesting. So again, I don't know what kind of arm injury Nolan had at the end of his career, and I'll have to look into that more. But you know, I just found this card to be interesting because it said he could probably get to 6,000, which he almost did. If he would have maybe went like 1 or 2 more years, he might have gotten 6,000. Who knows? But I digress. The next card, 300 wins, which is pretty sweet. And this back again is the same as all the other star card backs for the 300th win, because it breaks it down to active victory leaders where Nolan's at the top, followed by Burt Blyleven, and then it has the top 20 victory leaders where it has like Cy Young and Walter Johnson, and then Nolan's, he is on the list, but he's going to be further down, and he only got 324 wins. So he was chasing Don Sutton for career win totals, but he never was able to get past Don Sutton, who had 324. He tied Don. So he was never able to eclipse that mark as far as like the 324 mark. So I think that puts him like on 74th or 75th on the list or something like that. But that's that card. And then next to last card, at least for the base set, you got this one, which is his Major League records, which I think Nolan Ryan holds the Major League record for having the most Major League records. So on the back, it has a whole bunch of his records in small font. I'm not going to go through them all, but I think Nolan has like over 50. I think he has like 51 Major League records broken. And so, that just goes to show what kind of career he really had. I mean, of course, it spanned 27 seasons, but, longevity says a lot, especially for a pitcher. What pitchers do can last that long? I mean, you had some guys up there, like I think Warren Spahn was able to pitch for a while. You had Phil Niekro, who was able to pitch for a while. But 27 seasons is a long time. And so with that does come records, and with that comes, good records and bad records, like the number of bases on balls that you give up and stuff like that. But still, I think it just speaks to, what the type of beast or legend that Nolan was, with the longevity thing. So then the final card is the only card where he's an Astro. And this talks about his personal data, which is weird, because when you think like personal data, you think height, weight, all that stuff. But, this card also goes into all the times he was on the disabled list, which who cares? People get hurt. It talks about his military list. Okay, so he served in the military. That's good personal data. Then it talks about him being on the disabled list. Okay. It talks when he was traded traded to the Angels, which is good. And then granted free agency from the Angels. Okay. And then it talks about him being on the disabled list. Like, why disabled list? Like, why don't you say like has 3 kids and is married? And I don't know. I just found like disabled list stuff doesn't really fit. Like, everybody gets hurt, so it's not like it's not like a big thing. Who cares about disabled list stuff? I mean, now if you want to say, hey, Nolan used pickle juice to heal his blisters on his pitching hand, preventing him from being on the injured list even more, that's something cool, something interesting. But they didn't do that. So I don't know. It's a cool card, just different. Just, I don't know. But guys, that ends this Sensational Set Sunday. Please let me know what you think of the 1991 Star Stellar set. I'm getting ahead of myself. That doesn't end it. So each one of the Star base cards were printed in 500 print run, so it might be harder to get. And then, as with most Star sets, this also had a promo card, which I do not have, but I will show a picture up here of what it looks like. This the Star promos only had a print run of 100, so they're harder to come by, and when you do find them, they're pretty expensive, and that's been like the most biggest reason why I don't have it. Number one is probably because it's harder to find. When I say expensive, it's, 75 to $100 or 100 and some dollars, for the promo card, which that's a lot for cardboard. I'm not gonna lie, but I mean it's not like $1,000 card or anything like that. But I think the bigger thing is that they're harder to find. So especially the Stellars, because I, I don't see these too often on eBay popping up, so they're not that common. But I think when I bought it as the set, and I bought it for tens of dollars instead of many dollars. So um, yeah, that's I think it's when you see it, you should probably try to acquire it if the price is reasonable, of course, and when you go paying a ton of money for it. But that's all I got for you today as far as Sensational Set Sunday. I hope you liked it. Please let me know what you think of the cards again, and I appreciate everybody watching and commenting and liking and all that stuff. It really makes my day. So thanks a lot for watching. I'll see you at the next one. Thanks. Bye.